You have heard of the '57 Chevy and the Thunderbird, but what about the classics history left behind? Tucked away in dusty garages and fading memories, these forgotten '50s machines once turned heads and some even helped shape the future of car design. Today on Regal Ride, we're unearthing 10 hidden legends that time tried to erase. And trust me, car number 1 has a mind-blowing design twist that still stuns collectors today. So stick around. This ride is full of surprises. Let's start with number 10, a legend born from a jet-age dream. 1954 Kaiser Darren, the sports car with sliding doors. In 1954, America met one of its most unconventional sports cars, the Kaiser Darren. Designed by the visionary Howard "Dutch" Darren, this fiberglass-bodied two-seater made waves with its swooping lines, signature puckered lips grille, and most famously, sliding pocket doors that vanished into the front fenders. It looked like nothing else on the road. Though often overshadowed by the Corvette, which beat it to market by just a year, the Darren was the first production car to feature those remarkable disappearing doors. Built during Kaiser Motors' final push to stay competitive, only 435 units ever left the factory. Power came from a Willys F-head inline-6, producing around 90 horsepower. Modest, but paired with a lightweight body, it offered a uniquely stylish drive. It was expensive for a car that didn't quite deliver on performance. Sales stalled, and the Darren disappeared as quickly as it came. Yet today, it's seen as a rare gem, a piece of automotive art that dared to be different. And if you think this was radical, wait until you see our next car, a luxury machine with a feature so ahead of its time, even Cadillac had to catch up. Number 9, 1957 Cadillac El Dorado Brahman. Luxury that shocked Detroit. If the 1950s had a crown jewel of American excess, it was the 1957 Cadillac El Dorado Brahman. With a jaw-dropping price tag of $13,074, over twice the cost of a Corvette, it was Cadillac's answer to the ultra-luxury elite. And it didn't just suggest opulence, it declared it unapologetically. This hand-built masterpiece came with features most people wouldn't expect until the space age. A brushed stainless steel roof, suicide doors, magnetic drinking tumblers, a perfume atomizer, and even a grooming kit tailored for women, tucked neatly into the glove compartment. But the real revolution was hidden beneath the body. Standard air suspension, a US first. It promised a magic carpet ride, but the tech was so finicky, it often left owners bouncing, and mechanics baffled. Only 704 units were produced in 1957, making it one of the rarest and most ambitious Cadillacs ever built. It was elegance on overdrive, roll B's water drive, but also a cautionary tale of how innovation without reliability can become a luxury headache. Cadillac raised eyebrows. But coming up next, Chrysler raised the stakes with a radical rocket-age design that looked ready for takeoff. Number 8, 1956 to 1958, Plymouth Fury, the rocket that never slept. Before Stephen King's Christine turned it into a pop culture villain, the Plymouth Fury was already haunting the competition with horsepower. Introduced in 1956 as a limited production high-performance version of the Belvedere, the Fury was loud, bold, and impossible to ignore. Dressed exclusively in sand dune white with shimmering gold anodized trim, it looked as fast as it felt, and it was fast. By 1958, the Fury came with a dual-carb 318 cubic inch V8 pushing up to 305 horsepower, giving it the muscle to match anything else coming out of Detroit. Unlike later muscle cars that focused on straight-line brute force, the early Fury balanced power with presence. It was Plymouth's way of saying, we can play too. But without the marketing clout of GM or Ford, the Fury struggled to find its spotlight. By the time performance enthusiasts caught on, the 60s were already rewriting the rules. Still, for those in the know, the early Fury remains a symbol of underdog excellence. And now, from Detroit steel to Italian curves, our next forgotten legend was an elegant fusion of American engineering and European soul. Number 7, 1950s Cunningham C3, America meets Italian coachwork. When millionaire racer Briggs Cunningham set out to build a car that could challenge Ferrari at Le Mans, he didn't just aim for speed, he aimed for elegance. The result was the 1952 Cunningham C3, a sleek Grand Tourer that married Detroit muscle with Italian flair. Under the hood was a 331 cubic inch Chrysler Firepower Hemi V8, pumping out 180 horsepower, plenty of punch for the era. But what made the C3 unforgettable was its body, a handcrafted design by Michelotti, built by Carrozzeria Vignali in Italy. It looked like it belonged in Monaco, but it sounded like Daytona. To qualify for Le Mans, Cunningham needed at least 25 street-legal units. He made 27, each one slightly different, and all tailored for the elite few who could afford their sky-high price tag. But the cost of blending hand-built artistry with American engineering was unsustainable. And by 1955, Cunningham's dream was parked for good. Today the C3 is a forgotten masterpiece, a rare symbol of what happens when ambition, performance and style collide across continents. But if you thought this car looked futuristic, wait until you see the next one, a rolling spacecraft from the jet age that left jaws on the floor in 1956. Number 6. 1955 Lincoln Futura, the dream car that became a superhero. Before it ever prowled the streets of Gotham as the iconic Batmobile, the 1955 Lincoln Futura was something straight out of a science fiction fantasy. Designed by Ford's Bill Schmidt after a scuba diving trip in the Caribbean, the Futura looked more like a spaceship than a sedan, with its double bubble canopy, towering tail fins and pearly white paint mixed with crushed fish scales. It was a jaw-dropping vision of the future. Hand-built in Italy by Carrozzeria Ghia, the Futura sat on a standard Lincoln chassis and packed a 368 cubic inch V8 under its radical body. But the car wasn't about performance, it was about possibilities. It wowed crowds at auto shows across the country, and even had a Hollywood moment in the 1959 film It Started With a Kiss. Eventually, the lone prototype was sold to custom car builder George Barris for just $1. In 1966, he transformed the once-forgotten concept into the legendary Batmobile for the hit Batman TV series, cementing the Futura's place in pop culture history. Though born as a fantasy, the Futura reminded the world that design could be daring, dramatic, and just plain fun. But while this car was pure imagination, our next forgotten legend earned love for something far more grounded, a simple, reliable car with a French twist that charmed post-war America. Number 5. 1959 Renault Doufine, the little French car America almost loved. In an era of chrome beasts and booming V8s, the Renault Doufine looked like a toy, but for a moment America was smitten. By 1959, this petite French import had become one of the best-selling foreign cars in the US, even outselling the Volkswagen Beetle in some months. Powered by an 8045cc rear-mounted engine making just 32 horsepower, the Dauphine wasn't built for speed, it was built for city streets and fuel savings. Light, economical, and undeniably European in style, it offered a refreshing alternative to oversized American sedans. And at first it worked. More than 200,000 Dauphines found homes in the US between 1956 and 1967. Many bought by city dwellers or first-time car owners looking for something different. But beneath its charm lay problems: rust, fragile construction, and lackluster reliability. On America's highways, the Dauphine felt painfully underpowered, and its reputation took a hit. Still, its legacy is important. The Dauphine helped break ground for the idea that small foreign cars could thrive in the US, paving the way for later imports like Honda, Toyota, and BMW. But if the Dauphine was about going small, the next car was all about going big, with enough steel and swagger to rival a battleship. Number 4. 1958 Packard Hawk, the last roar of a dying giant. By 1958, Packard, once the gold standard of American luxury, was gasping for breath. Years of financial struggles and a merger with Studebaker had diluted the brand. Its final act, the Packard Hawk, a bold, brash attempt to stay in the fight. Based on the Studebaker Golden Hawk, the Packard Hawk got a visual overhaul with a fiberglass nose, a wide Mercedes-style grille and sculpted tail fins. The look was polarizing. But beneath the surface was serious muscle, a supercharged 289 cubic inch V8 pumping out 275 horsepower, giving the Hawk a top speed of over 120 mph, quick enough to challenge Thunderbirds and Corvettes of its time. Inside, the Hawk offered true luxury: leather upholstery, padded dashboards, and full instrumentation, reminders of the elegance Packard once embodied. But the name no longer held sway. Buyers saw the badge as outdated, and the car, no matter how capable, couldn't rewrite the past. Only 588 units were ever built. After 1958, Packard shut its doors forever, leaving the Hawk as both a collector's curiosity and a tragic reminder of what once was. As Packard faded into the history books, another underappreciated gem was quietly shaping the future, not with speed or style, but with innovation that would change how families hit the road. Number 3. 1956 Dodge Sierra Custom Suburban, the wagon that was way ahead. In the fin-obsessed, chrome-heavy world of the mid-1950s, the 1956 Dodge Sierra Custom Suburban might have looked like just another family wagon. But dig deeper, and you'll find a car that was quietly innovating the future, decades before minivans and SUVs ruled the road. The Sierra Custom was Dodge's top-tier station wagon, offering features unheard of in most wagons of its day. It came with a third-row seat, making it a legitimate 9-passenger cruiser. The wraparound rear glass wasn't just stylish, it improved visibility, and the available push-button automatic transmission made driving feel futuristic. While Dodge primarily used the PowerFlight in 1956, TorqueFlite did debut late that year, signaling a shift towards smoother, more advanced automatics. Power came from a 315 cubic inch Red Ram V8, delivering up to 230 horsepower, more than enough to move a fully loaded family down the highway with confidence. It didn't sacrifice style either, with bold two-tone paint, heavy chrome trim, and sweeping body lines. It looked as good pulling into a diner as it did hauling camping gear. Despite its innovation, the Sierra Custom was often overlooked in favor of Chevrolet's Nomad or Ford's Ranch wagons. Its production numbers remained modest, and most were driven into the ground, victims of daily life rust and obscurity. But today the Sierra Custom Suburban stands as a direct ancestor of the American SUV, blending practicality, comfort, and innovation long before that was the norm. And speaking of cars ahead of their time, our next entry brought sporty flair to a sensible package, with a name that's been forgotten, but deserves to be remembered. Number 2, 1953, Nash Healey, Le Mans Coupe, the GT car America forgot. Before America fell head over heels for the Corvette or the Mustang, there was the Nash Healey, a quietly brilliant pioneer that dared to blend continents and redefine what a US sports car could be. A joint venture between Nash Motors and British engineer Donald Healey, the Le Mans Coupe offered something radically different in 19 grand touring performance with global flair. Power came from a Nash inline-6, tuned in England for more output with twin SU carburetors and higher compression. Then it was shipped off to Italy, where Pininfarina cloaked it in an elegant fastback body that looked straight out of a European Concours. The result was a truly international creation, American muscle, British engineering and Italian design all in one. But this wasn't just a pretty face. In 1952, a Nash Healey finished third overall at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, beaten only by Mercedes-Benz and Ferrari. It was a staggering achievement for a car so few Americans had even heard of. With a price near $6,000, the Le Mans Coupe was never built for mass appeal. Only just over 500 were produced from 1951 to 1954. It served more as a statement than a sales hit, proof that American automakers could think beyond chrome and size, and build something refined, fast and forward-thinking. Though it faded into obscurity, the Nash Healey planted the seeds for what American GT cars could become, sleek, powerful and world-class. And finally, to close out our list, we turn to a car so rare, so under the radar, it barely made it past the blueprint stage. But its futuristic ideas, they feel more relevant now than ever. Number 1. 1955 Ghia Gilda, the jet-age dream that never took flight. If the 1950s ever tried to predict the future in metal and chrome, it looked like the 1955 Ghia Gilda, designed by the visionary Giovanni Savanuzzi at Italy's Carrozzeria Ghia. This jet-inspired concept wasn't built for roads, it was built to imagine what cars could be. Sculpted in a wind tunnel and named after the 1946 Rita Hayworth film Gilda, the car was a rolling symbol of jet-age optimism. With its long, tapering fuselage, sharply finned tail, enclosed rear wheels, and low-slung nose, it looked more like a rocket ship than a road car. Chrysler, closely partnered with Ghia at the time, dreamed of someday pairing this aerodynamic marvel with a gas turbine engine, though the prototype ran on a small Fiat four-cylinder, strictly for mobility. Despite its modest internals, the Gilda's design was groundbreaking, hinting at what was to come in both American and European styling. It was shown around the world at auto salons as a vision of tomorrow, dazzling audiences who had never seen anything like it. It remained a one-off, stored for decades, later restored and reintroduced to the public eye by collectors who recognized its forgotten brilliance. The Gilda didn't roar with V8 thunder, nor did it ever hit production, but it whispered of a sleek, space-age tomorrow.
Gilda.
In a decade filled with fins, chrome and horsepower wars, the Ghia Gilda dared to be something else entirely, a dream, frozen in metal, waiting for the world to catch up. These forgotten classics weren't just cars, they were ideas, risks and revolutions on wheels. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, we read every single one. If you love uncovering hidden gems from automotive history, hit that like button, subscribe to Regal Ride, and join us for more journeys into the past. Until next time, keep the legends alive.